leishmaniasis. So coming to the history of the leishmaniasis, it was discovered by the Sir William Leishman. In 1900, Sir William Leishman discovered the Leishmania donovani in a skin smear of a soldier who died of the fever at the Dum Dum in Kolkata, India. So the disease was known locally as the Dum Dum fever or the Kala Azar. Next is the Charles Donovan. Charles Donovan also recognized these symptoms in other Kala-Azar patients and published his discoveries a few weeks after the Leishman. And after examining the parasite using the Leishman stain, these A. mastigotes were known as the Leishman-Donovan bodies. Leishmaniasis is a neglected disease. Leishmaniasis is globally important but neglected disease because affecting approximately 2 million people every year. Infection results in a slow to heal skin ulcer, and in others, however, the parasite targets the liver, spleen, and the bone marrow, which are the most important organs to be infected in the leishmaniasis, and which is leading to over 70,000 deaths annually. Because it is transmitted by the vector sandfly, and it is mostly a tropical disease, uh, and it really infects the developed countries like European countries or the American continent. It is mainly restricted to the tropical countries like the Brazil, African countries, mainly the Southeast Asia. Now coming to the taxonomy of the parasite, it comes under the phylum Sarcomastigophora, under which is belong to the order Kinetoplastida, and it comes under the family Trypomastidodidae, and genus is Leishmania. Coming to the species, it is a disease caused by, it is further divided into three types: cutaneous, mucocutaneous, and visceral. Cutaneous leishmaniasis, it's caused by the species most commonly the Leishmania tropica, Leishmania major, Leishmania ethiopica, and Leishmania mexicana. Now the mucocutaneous leishmaniasis is most commonly caused by the Leishmania brasiliensis, and the visceral leishmaniasis is most caused by the Leishmania donovani, Leishmania infantum, Leishmania chagasi. Now coming to the morphology of the Leishmania, it comes it exists in two morphology forms: promastigote and the amastigote, and further it is divided into the promastigote divided into the flagella, kinetoplast, Golgi bodies, nucleus, cytoskeleton. Now coming to the morphology and the life cycle, amastigote measures around 2 to 3 micrometer in size, with a large nucleus and a kinetoplast. And the amastigote mainly live within the cells of the reticular endothelial system, but has been found in nearly every tissue and the fluid of the body. Then there is most commonly present in the promastigote form in the sandfly, and after entering to the human body, it transforms into the amastigote form, and these amastigote form inside the macrophages transfer to various organs like the liver, spleen, and the bone marrow, where they multiply. So we will discuss in detail the life cycle of the Leishmania. The organism is transmitted by the bite of the several species of the blood feeding the sandfly, Phallibotomus, which carries the promastigote in the anterior gut and the pharynx, and it gains access to the mononuclear phagocytes, where it transforms into the amastigote and divides until the infected cell ruptures. Now coming to the sandfly, which is a vector of the Leishmania. The released organisms infect the other cells, and the sandfly acquires the organism during the blood meal. And after acquiring the blood meal, A. mastigote enter into the sandfly and transform into the flagellate promastigote form and multiply in the gut until the anterior gut and the pharynx are packed. Dogs and the rodents are the common reservoirs. Now coming to according to CDC, the first is the sandfly takes a blood meal and in the human body and inject the promestigote which is present in the proboscis of the sandfly. These promestigote are phagocyted by the macrophages, and after phagocytosis, these promestigote transform into the amastigote inside the macrophages. These amastigotes multiply inside the macrophages and ultimately leads to the bursting of the macrophages. After bursting, these again repeated and again infect the other macrophages. So it is present in the blood of the human infected human, and whenever this takes a blood meal, these infected macrophages enter his body and which contain the amastigote. These amastigote transform into the promestigote stayed in the midgut of the sandfly, and ultimately these promestigote enter into the proboscis of the sandfly, and again the cycle is repeated when this infected sandfly infect the human. So this is another diagram how it is transmitted in animals and humans. See, this is an anthroporotic. That is, that is why it is called a zoonotic disease. That means it is transmitted from the animals to human. First is the sandfly bites the animal and ingests the blood infected with the leishmania. So most commonly the reservoir is the dog. Then there is a sandfly bites the human and inject the leishmania into the skin. After that, the cycle continues when the sandfly bites the another human or the animal reservoir, and another sandfly bites the human and just the blood ingested with the leishmania. This is again the repetition of the previous slide. Now this is again life cycle of the leishmania causing the visceral leishmaniasis. Dog is the reservoir for the visceral leishmaniasis. Most commonly, the infecting organism is the Leishmania infantum. Then there is sandfly, which is a vector which contains the promestigote, and in fact it can infect the human also, and dog also, and also the wild canine also. Now coming to the what is Kala-Azar. Kala-Azar, as the name indicates, means the dark pigmentation which is characteristic of the cases of the visceral leishmaniasis. It is caused by the Leishmania donovan bodies and may be present either in the endemic, epidemic, or the sporadic forms. It is widely prevalent in India in the epidemic forms in the states of the Bihar, Assam, and Bengal. Kala-Azar is found in the East and the South North Africa. Is a disease of the young children and young adults, being more common in the males as compared to the females. Coming to the clinical types of the cutaneous leishmaniasis, and first is the Leishmania major, Leishmania total. Leishmania major is a zoonotic cutaneous leishmaniasis, wet lesions with a severe reaction, and then is the Leishmania tropica, anthropologic cutaneous leishmaniasis, dry lesion with the minimal ulceration. Then there is oriental sore, which is the most common, which is responsible for causing the classical self-limited ulcer. Then they again divided into Leishmania tropica, Leishmania major, Leishmania ethiopica. Leishmania tropica, which is most commonly hosted the dog, and it relates to the formation of the oriental sole or the backdoor bone. Then there is Leishmania major, which is in which the host is the garbils, desert rodents, and which will lead to the rapid necrosis with the bad sores. Then there is Leishmania ethiopica, which is most commonly hosted the hyrax, and it causes most commonly the solitary facial lesions with the satellite. Leishmania is a disease caused by the protozoan parasites of the genus Leishmania and is transmitted by the bite of the sandfly. This disease is also known as the Kala-Azar, black fever, sandfly fever, dum-dum fever, as we have discussed earlier also, but it is called the Kala-Azar, it is called this black fever, sandfly fever, dum-dum fever, and human infection is caused by about 21 of the 30 species that infect the mammals. These most commonly species are the Leishmania donovani complex, which contains the three species, Leishmania donovani, Leishmania infantum, and Leishmania chagasi. This is the picture showing leishmaniasis. Then there is diffuse cutaneous leishmaniasis. Now coming to the uncommon types, diffuse cutaneous leishmaniasis and Leishmania racidica. Diffuse cutaneous leishmaniasis is caused topica, diffuse nodular non-ulcerating lesions, low immunity to the Leishmania antigens, and numerous parasites. Leishmania recidiva, which is lipoid leishmaniasis, and it causes the severe immunological reaction to the Leishmania antigens, which will lead to the persistent dry skin lesions and few parasites. Now the next is the post-Kalaza dermal leishmaniasis. Post-Kalaza dermal leishmaniasis is a condition where the Leishmania donovani invades the skin cells, resides and develop there, and manifest as the dermal lesions. Some of the Kalaza cases manifest post-Kalaza dermal lesions after a few years of the treatment. And recently it is may appear without passing through the visceral stage. Now coming to the pathogenesis, infection ranges from the asymptomatic to the progressive fully developed Kala-Azar, and incubation period is usually 2 to 4 months. And symptoms include begins with the low-grade fever and malaise, followed by the progressive wasting, anemia, and protrusion from the enlarged liver and the spleen. And it can be fatal after 2 to 3 years if not treated. In acute cases with the chills, fever up to 104 degrees Celsius Fahrenheit, and vomiting, death may occur within 6 to 12 months. Now, the immediate cause of death is usually an invasion of a secondary pathogen that the body is unable to combat. So, pathogenesis is very important in case of the Kala-Azar. You will have to remember what is the life cycle of the Leishmania and how it is going to infect and what are the symptoms it causes. It causes a massive splenomegaly, which is the most characteristic feature of the Leishmania. And massive splenomegaly is also caused by the other leukemic infections. But here in the Kala-Azar, it is very important. Now coming to the next disease caused by that is cutaneous leishmaniasis. As the name indicates, cutaneous leishmaniasis in the skin lesion it is causing. So for diagnostic purpose, smear is made from the skin biopsy, and after the smear is made, it should be stained by the Giemsa stain, and we will look for the LD bodies, that is Leishmania Donovan bodies. LD bodies are not but the A-mastigote forms which are present in the macrophages. So this is a picture showing the macrophages which contains the numerous A-mastigotes. Then we can do the biopsy also, and after biopsy we can use microscopy same for the detection of the LD bodies, and we can use culture also in triple N medium for the pro-mastigotes. Triple N medium is the Novi Macnil and Nicole medium, which is a selective medium for the culture of the Leishmania. Now this is again a picture of the Leishmania Donovan bodies or the A-mastigotes. It may be demonstrated in the Buffy goat preparation of the blood and bone marrow. Aspirate taken from the enlarged lymph nodes show the parasites in 60% of the cases. Then the next we will look for the visceral leishmaniasis. For visceral leishmaniasis, the diagnostic purpose, pathological diagnosis should be made. And for the visceral leishmaniasis, it most commonly infect the liver, spleen, bone marrow. So the sample should be taken accordingly. Bone marrow aspirate can be taken, splenic aspirate can be taken, tissue biopsy can be taken, lymph node can be taken. So these are the most common specimens which were taken for the leishmaniasis, for the visceral leishmaniasis. See, try to remember the part organ which is infected. If you know which are the organs are infected, then you can easily tell what are the specimens to be collected. So in case of visceral leishmaniasis, these samples can be taken, and after collecting the sample, microscopy should be done for the detection of the LD bodies or the A-mastigote form, and culture should be done in the triple N medium or Novi Macnil and Nicole medium. Then there is a bone marrow aspiration. This is how it is done. Usually 16 gauge needle or a 14 gauge needle is used, and or a FNAC needle can be used for the bone marrow aspiration. And after microscopy you will see this type of pictures. Here macrophage is very enlarged and contains numerous hematocyte forms. Now coming to the other methods, apart from the microscopy and the culture for the detection of the leishmaniasis, this is the antibody detection. So for the antibody detection, specific serodiagnostic tests are also employed. Then there is conventional methods include the gel diffusion, component fixation test, indirect hemagglutination test, indirect immunofluorescent antibody test, counter immunoelectrophoresis. Most of these tests have limited sensitivity and specificity. For detail of these tests, you will learn about in the immunology section. Uh, Now coming to the culturing of the parasite, as I have discussed earlier, selective medium used is the triple N medium, Nicolin, Novi, and McNeil medium. From the clinical specimen obtained from the splenic or the bone marrow aspirate. So this is how it looks. This is a tissue culture bottle in which the triple N medium has been put. Then there is immunological diagnosis, specific serological test like the direct elimination test, ELISA test, indirect fluorescent antibody test. Then there is skin test also available for the detection like the Leishmanian test for the survey of the population and follow-up after the treatment. And there are also non-specific detection of the hypergammaglobulinemia by the formaldehyde or formal jet test or by the electrophoresis. So these are the tests which will belong to the immunological section. Then there is direct agglutination test. Direct agglutination test based on the agglutination of the tryptase whole chromatigote and is useful in endemical regions. Its sensitivity ranges from the 95 to 100% and 72 to 100%. So this is the most commonly test done in the endemic regions like India, or in North India, mostly in the Southeast Asia, and in the India also. These Bihar and the Western UP and Eastern UP parts, and the Jharkhand. These are the tropical areas where these disease is endemic. Then the other method immunological test is the ELISA, enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. It is an important serological diagnostic tool for the leishmaniasis, and it is a highly sensitive test and its specificity depends upon the antigen used. So ELISA can be used. This is a picture showing the ELISA plate, or it is also known as the microtiter plate. You will see that there are 96 wells are present, 12 wells in each row, and a total of 8 rows are present. So 96 wells are used. So in each microdata plate we can detect the 96 samples, and ELISA can be used for both for the antigen and antibody detection, but here we will most commonly use for the antigen antibody detection. Antigen is usually coated on the well side. Antigen is coated, and then there is patient serum is put into the well, and if the patient serum containing the antibody, then there is antigen antibody complex is formed, and this antibody complex can be detected by the adding the substrate, adding the enzyme with the antibody, and then we will add the substrate, and if it is the antigen antibody complex is present, then with the presence of the enzyme, substrate it gets breakdown into the product, and release of the coloring reaction occurs, and a change in color is seen. So here you will see that the blue color is formed. If it is a blue color is formed, then it is considered the positive, and if it is colorless, then it is only negative. But here we will detect the OD value by putting this in OD reader or ELISA reader, where we will detect the OD value, and after detecting the OD value, cutoff value is detected, and on the basis of that we will declare the specimen positive or negative. So detail you will you can read in the and how many types of ELISA are present. Direct, indirect, sandwich, ELISA. So you can also read in that section also. Then the other test we can be using the chromatographic strip test. This is a ICT based method. ICT stands for the immunochromatographic strip test. It is a point of care test because it can be done at and in the rural settings also, and no specific laboratory requirements are required. This is a on-spot test also, and results can be available within the 15 to 20 minutes. And this is a sample pad, absorbent pad where the sample can be put. Then there is the test and the control band also. So here you can see a ready-to-use immunochromatography strip test based on the RK39 antigen. RK39 stands for the and kinase 39 antigen has been developed as a rapid test for the diagnosis of the Kala-Azar, and it is an important limitation of this test is the presence of the antibodies in the healthy controls hailing from the endemic regions. Then these are all for the detection of the diagnosis of the leishmania. RKE16 is also another. RK39 is the antigen, and there is also an antigen RKE16 which is developed by the AIMS, and it is also used for the detection of the leishmania. Treatment is consists of the pentavalent antibody and amphotericin B. And complications should also be treated if it is a severe anemia is present, or bleeding is present, or infection is present. Then accordingly the antibiotics can be added, or blood transfusion can be done if it is complications are present in the patient. Now coming to the management of the Kala-Azar patient, it includes both the supportive and the curative. All the patients of the Kala-Azar should preferably be hospitalized, and any infection complicating the disease be treated by use of the proper antibiotics. Nutrition must be maintained, and cases with the severe anemia may require the transfusion. As I've discussed earlier also, pentavalent antibody compounds are the drug of choice, and sodium antibody gluconate or the pentostem is the most commonly used drug. Now coming to the prevention part, multi-pronged approach is needed, and sandflies are extremely sensitive to the insecticide and the vaccine. And mosquito nets can also be used, or curtains treated with insecticide. It will keep the tiny sandflies away. This is in continuation with the prevention part. In endemic areas with zoonotic transmission, infected or the stray dogs should be destroyed. And in areas with enterochronotic transmission, that is from the animals to the humans, early diagnosis and treatment of the human infection should be done, so that and reduction of the reservoir should be done. Reservoir like we discussed earlier, infected or the stray dogs, which are the most common reservoir of this infection, should be destroyed, and control the epidemics of the facial leishmaniasis is extremely important. You can, as I've discussed earlier, it causes approximately 70,000 deaths per year. So it is a very neglected disease in the tropical countries like India. It is useful for the diagnosis of the suspected cases in the field. And there is currently no vaccine is currently available, but the trials has been done. Several clinical vaccines are under the trial, which are using most commonly the Leishmania infantum species, and Leishmania chagasi disease also. Leishmania chagasi, these are the species which are used for the as a most important agent in which through which against which anti-vaccine can be formed. But now you will remember that all the vaccines are under the trial, but there is no vaccine available for the clinical use. So this is all about the Kala-Azar. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can ask. say try to read this chapter when you go home, and if you get it, um, if in case of any doubt, you can ask in the next lecture. So thank you for today.